Okay, looks like I'm live. I better make sure this thing's not too loud here. Okay, no, we're all right. We're all right. We're all right. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun here today, folks. We're gonna have some fun, or at least we're gonna try. Anyways, we're gonna try. We're gonna try. Just gonna check out the streams there, make sure everything's going good. Mute that. Okay, yeah, I'm live with a slight delay, very, very slight delay. Let's check this one out now. And Odyssey, check them all out. Make sure everything's working good. There we go. Yep, perfect, perfect. So we're streaming on the Rumble, Odyssey, X, and YouTube. And fuck Facebook. Can't believe they took me. I can't believe they took down my video. That conversation I had with Mark regarding the Israeli Palestine conflict. What the hell? There was nothing that could have been construed as being like what? What? I don't even know. That's the thing. That's the thing with these some of these social media platforms, in particular Facebook, has been an ongoing issue for a lot of people, which is why we tend to use redundant social media platforms and alternative social media platforms, because you just never know what the hell these fuckers are doing. I mean, it tells me. I actually did a whole video. I actually could have brought that video up. Tell you the truth, I should have thought to bring that video up, but actually, it's basically because I did a screen record of it. Where you go and it says that your post can't be seen by anyone, and you've broken some guidelines or gone against the policy, whatever the hell it said. And then you click on next, but it doesn't show you why. It doesn't even show you. Although I knew at that timeline, just based on that timeline and when it happens, like, okay, this obviously has to have to do with my video. Oh, plus the fact you couldn't see my video anymore, so that kind of gave it away. Or as a live stream, But that's the thing. Could you imagine if I only live streamed to Facebook? It would have been gone. But like I say, I got it on redundant platforms, so no worries. They're not actually harming me. So that's the crazy part. Like the folks at Facebook, like to think that you're actually going to stop me from getting what I got to say out there, whatever, right? And there's all kinds of ways around that. And that's actually another thing I'll point out too, just to share some of the ridiculous headlines and stuff in the media. Yeah, I don't have to share the link because I know you're going to delete it if it's a news link. So I'll just screen capture the article. There's so many ways and put that on there, and then I could just copy and paste the text and put it in myself. So you're not stopping me. But yeah, they took it down. Anyways, you keep going, and then you finally do get to the point where it says, you have two choices: to accept the decision, right? Roll over and play dead, I guess, or appeal. And of course, yeah, I'm up. Yeah, I want to appeal. So you hit the appeal. And it's supposed to take you to this form to fill out, and click on that thing that says go to form. I clicked on it like I don't know how many times. Nope, won't let you go. So yeah, you have a way to appeal, but we're just going to make it impossible to do so. We'll give you the illusion, right, of you can appeal this, but no chance in hell of actually doing it, which is absolutely crazy as far as I'm concerned. But like I say, whatever, man, it is what it is. Anyways, I was looking here before I get too crazy in here into things. There's a lot of stuff to cover, but I did want to get to something here in particular here. 1 second. What would that have been? It would have been media, perhaps under media. Yeah. It's under media. Yeah. All right, let's bring this up because this is a great way to start the stream. Matter of fact. This would be actually a great way to have your intro. Just have this on repeat, right? That would be kind of cool. I'm even thinking about doing something like that. You mean the five? Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. So, yeah, let's bring this on. Let's bring it on here. Stop that one. Bring this one on instead. Okie dokie. Hope everyone's doing well today, by the way. I know I am. Things are looking up. Things are really looking up. Actually, I do see there's a bunch of comments already. I will get to them. Just give me a second there, folks, because like I say, you're gonna like this. Let's all enjoy this beautiful chorus. I've never heard an actual symphony, right? Sound this good. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. You folks probably already heard it, but hey, it's worthwhile listening to. I can't, right? Ooh, baby. Here we go. All right, one minute. So I'm sure some of you folks are already well aware. Yeah, that was at the, what do they call it now? It's gone through so many different names. What is it? I think it's the Scotiabank Arena or something they call it now. Started out back in the day when I was still living in Toronto as the Sky Dome. Then it was Rogers, and then it was this and that. I was like, holy shit. Well, I mean, Phil is kind of a Canadian theme on under a lot of these progressives, right? So it's to be expected, really. Anyways, yeah, just one sec here. I want to get into the chat because I do see there's some people in the chat. So let me just see. Pound Atlas, what's up? Yo, how you doing? Thanks for joining the stream, my friend. Steve the Canadian. Oh, hey. Oh, hey to you as well. And thank you for joining the stream. Justin Turdo. Hey, you hosers. Hey, hosers. You gotta like that though. And I actually saw someone else. I don't know if it's real or not, because some shit on the internet's not real. Imagine that. But yeah, there was a thing, and I think it might very well be where someone's showing a screen capture of that, that fuck Trudeau, that chant, that beautiful chorus there at the Scotia Center. And yeah, that was at the UFC 297. Yeah, sadly, Strickland, he lost his fight, but he won the battle against the media. And you know what? You can always make up for a lost fight. You can't win them all, but boy, did he ever win going up against that media personality. And what a beautiful, beautiful spectacle to behold. But yeah, that was at that chant was right at that UFC. And yeah, could you imagine being Trudeau's son if he truly was there? But people are suggesting he was, and if he was, could you imagine sitting there and everyone in the audience, or not, maybe not everyone. That's the other thing. I was talking to my wife about that actually, and my son actually too, but just the other night there. But could you imagine? Just think of the spectacle. So you're sitting in it. What was it? 21,000 people, I think, were there, right? And you're hearing this wicked, and probably people on either side of you, right? That are well, some of the progressives, because this is the thing. Toronto, like progressive central, right? But you also have some people. I mean, I lived in Toronto, so there are exceptions and outliers. Probably at least 21,000 of them are close to. I mean, because they're going to UFC fights. Although I suppose you can kind of be one. I suppose you can kind of enjoy UFC fights and be a progressive, although it does sound almost like an oxymoron to me, because it seems like the people that call themselves progressives never want to engage in an actual fight. And I don't mean in a physical one, but even at the ideas level and showing their verbal or communication skills in any way, or at least their premises when they're having their premises challenge. And I've shown that in a multitude of times. And yeah, I was all over X. Yeah, all the jumping, it makes me feel good. But it shows me too that, and I have actually posted on this on X and a bunch of my other social media pages, even with AI. And that's the thing. I have Grok. I'm a premium user on X, so I can use Grok, but I'd rather use my own mind to talk. I don't need a computer or artificial intelligence or an algorithm to speak for me. I'll do that. But it's so funny. I got to thinking, even with AI, bots, and actual human beings, right? They're getting paid by the government or just are idiots, useful idiots, all of them. And they sent in like, what was it? Like, I don't know how many, like, that's the thing. They pretend that, oh, my voice means nothing and all this, but well, then why the hell, like, why does it take like 100 of you people to gang up on one guy? If what I say is so meaningless, if you see my post and just move on, but for some reason they had to chime in. So must have got them somehow. There must be something about what I'm saying, right? But anyways, like, yeah, University of Alberta professor of economics and law, and another, I don't even know if you folks know that Max Fawcett guy. But once again, between the two of them and their mindless minions of followers, not one of them, like I say, including algorithms, AI, bots, because those exist too. Some of the counts when you hover over, damn well, right? But yeah, it's actually none of them. But see, that's the beautiful thing about objective truth and universal ethics is they can't defeat it. Well, it's impossible. It's like saying 2 + 2 is 5. And the one thing about artificial intelligence, you might be able to fool a lot of humans, in particular progressives or people on the left these days, and actually no, even on the right, I shouldn't say that. Both sides fail in that regard. But artificial intelligence, even if you've so far trained it, like Chat GPT, to lie or to deceive or to have the wrong ideas, well, that's why I do what I do, folks. I'll train that motherfucker up so it gets a lot wiser, because it's an algorithm or it's artificial intelligence, right? Maybe artificial intelligence, although probably will get there to understand, and the philosophy of liberty long before a lot of humans do, right? But either way, it's just great to see that, yeah, so far with all that, just one person like myself and the ideas I bring, although it's not all, they're not obviously my ideas. I don't, no copyright there. They're ideas that have been out in the ether for a long time. But yeah, the ideas, the philosophy of liberty, so powerful, all of that. And they can't do a damn thing against it except cry, bitch, moan, whine, right? Offer up stupid, baseless insults, or you just, you know how it goes, call you names, right? But it's great to see. It's great to see. I'm feeling really invigorated to know that, wow, the truth, objective truth, and like I say, universal ethics, that power. Well, especially kind of helps to have someone that can help deliver that too, right? Which I try to do, and I'm sure so do you folks as well. But anyways, let me get in here. Hey, hosers. Blackface. Yeah, blackface. Too funny. Listening on my headphones at work. Cool. We'll keep that on the down low. Don't want to get you in trouble or anything there, Justin Turtle. But yeah, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that. Okay, let's see. We got another one here. My kid was at the North American Indigenous Games last year when the crowd was booing the turtle. Nice. Well, I mean, this is the thing. You can see the writing on the wall. I think even liberals and progressives are starting to see the writing on the wall. That this is the other thing. They'll throw each under the bus so quick, it. Like they'll throw Trudeau under. The minute they figure he's going to lose his grip on power, they'll throw him under the bus quicker than. That's the thing with these folks, right? They have no loyalties other than what can you do for me? So that's about it. Right? But and they lack ideas as well, or at least good ideas. You now have to use pronouns in I saw that Pound Atlas. Like, how fucking so this guy alone just tells you the minute a judge, someone that claims to actually have any intelligence, which surely you would have to have it, or it'd be a baseline requirement, right, to become a judge. But yeah, to go along with that kind of identity politics nonsense and this, like referring to people by their this just goes to show political correctness completely supersedes anything that even remotely resembles justice in this country. It's not like I actually needed to be told that. Trust me, like I said, I've known this for as long as even in my own personal experience, and with the whole thing back with the my own troubles I had, right? I know that. I seen it. It played out then. I was way in front of this stuff. But like I say, I'm always happy to hear and see people finally catch up and learn some of these things. What do you think of Sean Strickland? That was great, actually. I should see if I can't find that real quick here. Let me bring that up, see if I can't bring. Yeah, because it would be in the it should be in my media files here too, right? You would think. No, I'm all the way back too far. So I'm trying to find it here, folks, because really it should be there. Oh, by the way, I shared Javier Millier's speech in its entirety on all my social media pages too. And you should even be able to download it if you want to, because there shouldn't be any limitations or restrictions on your ability to download it. No, I'm not seeing it under media. So let me go. Where else would it have been? Highlights? No. Oh, I should have highlighted that, actually. That's actually something I've kind of been failing myself on is the highlights thing. I should have started putting that stuff in the highlights, but I'm going to try to look for, or did I play that on my last stream? I can't even remember if I played it on my last stream, actually, tell you the truth. But I'm just going to scroll down here real quick through my feed, see if I can't find it. What's this one here? No, that's not it. That's not it. Okay, keep going. And bring this over here a little bit more. Try to keep it closer. Hopefully it's loud enough for you folks. Okay, there we go. Replies. My goodness. Sometimes when I see how much I do online, it's like it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, folks. Which is why obviously I gotta take breaks periodically because it's a lot. It's a lot. Where is the Sean Strickland thing here? Surely I must be getting close to it now. Oh no, most of that was all those. Oh, yeah. Well, there's this Joe Rogan reaction. I'll play this one. Why not? Since I'm here. Since we're already here. Share. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the one. What's Joe Rogan think about the whole fuck Trudeau thing?
Fuck Trudeau.
Was that the UFC?
Yelling fuck Trudeau.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That guy's
Canada,
a piece of shit.
Canada, get your shit together. Come back. Come back to what you used to be.
Hey, Joe, we're trying, man. There's some of us up here trying, but yeah, we're wickedly outnumbered. Now, luckily, we punch way above our weight. So, never say never, right? Never say never. There's still that very, very real potential that, things might make a big shift and turn around. I mean, I don't imagine a lot of people down in, actually, no, this is the Dana White one. Yeah, I'm going to play this one too. But, would imagine there'd be a lot of socialists and progressives and collectivists down in Argentina that would have thought, there'd never be any such thing as a libertarian that would come to power, right? And leave you alone, right? Down there. That's actually the main thing that they fear, the progressives and the collectivists and the socialists, is to be left alone because they need to be taken care of from cradle to grave by authoritarian mommy or authoritarian daddy, which is such a sad reality. But, and then, I mean, come on, you got Klaus Schwab and a bunch of them over there at the WF using the term libertarian. They're so scared. So, libertarians, like I said, not only are we punching way above our weight, but we seem to be getting a lot of attention, even though we function mostly in a very small, what seems to be group of individuals. That's another thing too. We're so decentralized. Right? It's actually a beautiful thing, folks. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, let me play this little one here. And shout out to Jason James. I shared this as well, but Jason James there. I don't know if you folks got to see my live stream with Jason James. Great live stream, great guy. And actually he's doing a good job. He's got actually a very large audience. So, if you folks aren't already, I definitely recommend you follow him over there on the Twitter. And, he's probably got links to his other social media accounts too. But yeah, let's just play a little bit of this one here. Just for the hell of it. I might have already played it, but hey, once again, it's only 48 seconds long. Not going to hurt you.
But you obviously give a long leash to your fighters about, what they can say when they are up there with the UFC microphone and you are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Is there...
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying you...
A leash?
I'm
free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people, I don't fuck.
See when I tell you folks, and when I say they're projecting, I mean, that there is a perfect example. This hack in the establishment media, he's on a very short leash, right? He's controlled in what he's allowed to say, report on, or the perspective he's allowed to bring to the table, right? People like Dana, people like myself, people like Sean Strickland, and you notice there's something we all share in common? Yeah, we're real men, not beta cocks. We don't hide behind people, right? We stand on our own 2 feet and accept the responsibility and any backlash or consequences for what we say or what we do as well, right? Don't look to offload that cost or responsibility to others. No, we'll stand in full defense ourselves, right? That's the thing. And I mean, you just can't help but think, especially for the younger people, especially young men in particular, right? What the hell are the progressives, whether they're the left, like the liberal progressives or the progressive conservatives? What in the hell are they inspiring, or what is inspirational about either side of that to young men? Like, young boys even that want to become men, real men, right? What's the inspiration they would get from either side of the libcons or the end dippers, either one, right? Or the green, nothing other than misery and black pilled nonsense all day long, right? And identity politics, right? And division. Not great. Whereas, yeah, people like Dana, right? What's he bring? A lot. I mean, look what the man does. He's the CEO, right? The main guy, the president of the UFC. I mean, think about what that guy brings to the table and the kind of people he brings along with him, right? And the kind of people in those audiences. Like I say, I'll take my chances, right? With the likes of Joe Rogans, your Joe Rogans of the world, your Dana Whites, right? All the people who are standing up and against the status quo or the current ruling establishment. I'll take our chances any day of the week. Matter of fact, tell you the truth, I kind of think it's kind of an unfair fight, no matter it's in the intellectual or if it ever did, hopefully not ever get into the physical realm. But it's like, actually, we could probably tie one foot and hand behind our backs and still, or, take some really nasty mind altering drugs where it's like frying a bunch of your brain cells and whatever fuse left, you could still dominate these guys right now. I don't recommend the drug thing. Remember, keep your mind sharp. Right? That's my suggestion. But anyway, yeah, let me play this last little bit here.
Can tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
I was asking that question. I'll move on though.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Probably a good idea.
That's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Way to tell them, Dana. Way to tell them. All right, let me see if wait a minute, where are we at here? Oh yeah, I got to go back on that one. So I'm still looking for the Strickland. Actually, I really think I already showed that. So I won't bother because, like I say, I'm quite a ways back on my timeline as it is. But yeah, another thing too is I put out there for any of these people that want to debate me on the carbon tax, these proponents of the carbon tax, these progressives, or this professor, what's his name again? Andrew. We'll get to it here in a minute. What is it? Leachman? Or something like that. We'll figure it here in a minute. But yeah, I put the challenge out there, and you'll be surprised not that, yeah, no takers so far. Yeah, won't be holding my breath either. Can't see it even happening because, like I say, they're not super wise people, right? But they're at least smart enough to know, you don't want to walk into that particular trap because you're going to be on the other side of things. Because just like I kind of reveal it, maybe I should have withheld, but yeah, I'm going to bring the ethical lens to the equation. Right. So if you're trying to make the utilitarian argument, yeah, that's going to fail. That's going to fail miserably. And then of course, well, here, let me just for the hell of it, while we're on the, Trump, Trudeau and taxes, you folks must be aware of this one. Yeah. Trump's dancing today. Because I'm sure you folks might have already heard it. And if you haven't, well, I'll let you know right now. Yeah, DeSantis dropped out of the race. So that's a pretty impressive thing because who's left now? Who's left in the race? And for those of you who don't want to watch my streams because I might talk about Trump, then, sorry, but like this is a reality that's going to unfold for the next, 9.5 months. And yeah, being our southern neighbor, that one potential, or at least historically, beacon of liberty on the planet, yeah, it kind of matters. I mean, it should matter to anyone, whether you like Trump or not. And once again, it's not that I'll admit Trump is a state as well, obviously, right? But I mean, like I say, you just got to look at the people who are all against Trump. And every time I look at them, it's like, damn, these are all the people that I'm against as well. So, not that I'm not picking the winner in that particular race, but hey, I'm more than willing to watch the spectacle and see how this all plays and unfolds because yes, there very well could be opportunities, right? When great disruptions happen, that's where great opportunities present themselves as well, right? So we got to take that in mind as well, or keep that in mind as well. I'm just actually checking over on Rumble to make sure, because might get some comments over there. But so far, although I do see there are some people watching over on Rumble. But yeah, so if you folks want to comment, ask a question, or do anything like that, because this live stream, I didn't really even have any articles on reserve. Well, I think I got a couple there, but for the most part, I'm just kind of freewheeling it today. Have a little fun with it. Like I say, have a little fun with these live streams, while at the same time still getting some good information out there. Why not, right? Killed two birds with one stone, so to speak. Anyways, I'm going to get back in the chat. I see there's a few more comments propping up in there. Oh yeah, yeah. But I think they were great. I think they were great. You know, he's a fighter, so he's not like obviously the most articulate guy on the planet. But tell you the truth, I think he actually did a really, really good job. Oh, actually, I just thought of too. I didn't bring this up in the label of this stream, but what's up with Owen Benjamin, man? I mean, it's been a long time since I've interacted with that guy. It's been years, actually. I can't even tell you the truth. It's been so long. I can't even remember what our particular falling out was, how that all came about. Like I say, so much happens in the run of a day, never mind years, right? But you know who I'm talking about, right? Owen Benjamin, comedian. Yeah, he's a comedian. And I think the guy's actually, or at least I thought, and I would like to hope to think that way as well today, is he seems like a pretty reasonable guy, but I don't know what the fuck it is with it. He went on this big long tirade against libertarians. And in some areas, I would agree with him in a way, but just stop using that term libertarian, because to be a libertarian doesn't mean that you're hedonistic, or someone that just wants to, watch porn all day and do immoral things as long as you're not harming people. No. Or I guess wouldn't be necessarily immoral if you're not harming someone, but do things that, probably most of us don't accept as what a good, upstanding human being would be, right? Or ethical human being, right? Or so I get it. Oh, and I could agree with you in some regard, but to just pretend that you could just label libertarians in such a way. I mean, you should know that libertarians, like, we're so independent and so wide ranging and varying in so many areas. The one thing that we do share in, though, this is the thing you got to acknowledge. The one thing that we do share in, which I think is a beautiful thing, is we acknowledge self-ownership, property rights, and the non-aggression principle. And yes, some people, right, in a situation where there's not laws written against, maybe they like to go frequent prostitution or frequent prostitutes and get laid that way, or maybe they like to have orgies and shit. Now, once again, I'm not a fan of that. I've been with my wife for 33 years, right? So obviously that's not my wheelhouse or anything that's interesting to me. That wasn't even interesting to me when I was a young man, to be honest with you. Okay. But just because some people, like, you don't even have to be a libertarian to be into that kind of shit, right? So I don't know. That's why this is the beautiful thing about individualism and the philosophy of liberty is, let's just deal with each other as individuals. Yes, there are some libertarians, who we probably wouldn't want to, maybe be best friends with, right? Or to influence our kids. But that would be the same no matter what their political or ideological or philosophical concept or mindset is in life, right? So come on. I just don't like the division. And I'm way more into the white pill things these days. And it probably is a reflection that my personal life's doing really good, my social life is doing well these days, and even my economic life is doing a little bit better. Not spectacular, but it's good. I'm comfortable. I'm not suffering, right? And luckily, I was wise enough not to put myself in ridiculous amounts of debt to the point where, you gotta be the slave to the man no matter what. Like, that can be hard on a lot of people's head. But I mean, I've given advice to people throughout the years to keep yourself free. There's all kinds of little things, just a little bit here, a little bit there, little things that you can do to gradually reduce any potential of you having to be economically or socially enslaved, right? There are areas, and of course, where it starts out first and foremost is up here. The best thing you can do in your life is free your mind, right? That's, to me, that was the greatest accomplishment I achieved as an adult human being, to actually free my mind of all that shit that was thrust and forced and jammed in it from the time I was a little kid, right? Till, even into the, what was it? Probably at least into my, I don't know what year it's, but at least into my 20s. Because I don't think I was thinking probably about things in my 20s. I definitely wasn't as bad as some people, some others are, or a lot of other people are, but I wasn't in the right mindset. And I sure shit didn't know what it was to be genuinely a free human being, but I do now. And it's a beautiful thing. That freeing your mind is very freeing in any other regard as well. Okay, let me just check back with some more streams here, folks. There we go. Hey, Dave Dismantle, how you doing? Thanks for joining the stream. The reporter is on a leash, so everyone is exactly. Yeah, you get it. Dave gets it. Dave gets it. Hey, Verbal Armament, what's going on? Thank you for joining the stream as well. What's up? Been catching your streams after first live one in a while. Awesome. Like I say, it doesn't matter to me whether you catch it, while it's live or afterwards. But yeah, the views help, right? Even I've said this before too, right? Like, even if you got to put it in the background and maybe not listen to everything I'm saying, that extra view, right, kind of helps a little bit for sure. All the people being charged for arson when Trudeau claims climate change. Yeah, right. And that's another thing we're privy to today, right? And I will say, thanks to some of those in not just the establishment that have to report on it, but it kind of probably bothers some of them that they have to, but of course, many in the alternative media as well. But yeah, some of the fires in Alberta, BC, and Nova Scotia. And yeah, we're seeing it. Like I say, and even the established media have to report on it. So even normies or progressive that are watching, or the only thing that they consume to get their news or their information are established media outlets. Well, even they're like having their climate change cult mindset rocked. It's like, well, wait a minute. I thought all these forest fires, I heard for what, weeks on end, remember how the climate alarmists and the experts, or those in the media and they're experts. That's the other thing. Like, this constant reference in the people that they use to spew their rhetoric as experts is so fucking Orwellian. It's unreal. But I mean, yeah, if you fell for that nonsense and now you're the same thought leader or opinion maker that you bowed to is now telling you, actually, no, it was a dude that set 22 fires or some shit like that. Or was he 22-year-old? But anyways, that are out there, causing these fires. Well, that's got to rock at least some part of your foundational belief in that particular climate alarmism cult, right? You got to think. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Verbal Armament. Q-tards too, the return of the Donald. Yeah. Well, listen, hey, that's the other thing too. I'm not foolish enough to think that all of Trump's followers are the pick of the crop, right? I mean, not everyone. That was another thing I was pointing out to someone else. Because when I was having my interaction exchange with Max Fawcett and that University of Alberta professor of economics and law advocating for a carbon tax, like economics and law, and he's advocating for a carbon tax. Wow. Okay. They don't teach ethics and law? Well, geez, I was under the assumption that all laws are supposed to be built and based upon ethics. Otherwise, they're just, political edicts, right? But hey, I digress, Lord forbid. But it's so funny. Yeah, they talk about shit. Where the hell was I going with that? I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, they talk about how forget it. Never mind. I forgot where I was going with that. So where are we at? The return of the Donald. I know I was reading your comment. I was hoping that would actually bring it back to me, but anyway, it's all good. It's all good. Moving on. To think that the system can be changed within the system itself is childish and naive, not to mention ignorant of human consciousness. So true to Dave. That's the thing. And I know everyone likes to use, I've even done it myself in the past. Oh, you just got to vote harder. But you know what? The best thing we can do is to properly educate and inform. And what I did again on the X as a response to all these progressives, when professor, and then other people that were chiming in, you scroll over their profile, teachers, like, fuck, these are people that are teaching your kids, man. Really? That's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. But anyways, even listen, I'll even bring this out. And yeah, I'm kind of going all over the place. No wonder I lose my train of thought from time to time. Yes. Imagine living in this head. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, well, partially kidding. But even what is it, the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, the JCCF, or is it the CCF, the Canadian Constitutional Foundation? No, I think it's the CCF. What is her name? Van Gyn. Christine Van Gyn and True North that was promoting it, the True North Center, True North Media, True North News. And they're talking about, actually, I should just bring that up. Let me see if I can bring that up, actually. Why not? Okay, let's see here. Home. And we'll go to, True North. Yeah, because that was pretty recent. So it should actually be right here. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. So let me bring this on. Let me bring this on here, folks. Oh, actually, I might just bring the article. Yes, I'm going to bring up the article then, because that way we can get it all in there. Okay, screen share, op-ed. And once again, not hating on, the people that are like Christine Van Gyn and the people at the CCF, or even some of those at the JCCF and was it the Canadian Civil Liberties? The problem is that these folks are not fucking speaking properly and informing Canadians properly as to what it means to be a free human being. And I even had this pushback from these idiots like this university professor and Max Fawcett, basically suggesting that when I try to explain them, like that, individual liberty, like inherent and inalienable. Like all you have to do is look at it, and we'll get to that. Actually, I should have brought that up too. But all you have to do is type in right now. Any of you folks can do this right now in real time. Just type in inherent and inalienable, both of those words, and look up the definition, right? I mean, and we all have access to, an online dictionary. If you have an internet connection, you have access to an online dictionary, and they all tell you the same thing is, no, you can't take them away. That's the point of inherent and inalienable. If you suggest you can take them away by writing something, within these documents, well, then you're fucking lying to people. You're suggesting that they don't actually have rights. They're privileges. And that's basically what a lot of people, including people at, sadly, I hate to point out, but at the Canadian Constitution Foundation, including people like Christine Van Gyn, listen, don't be shy about it. Just be willing to tell Canadians the cold, hard truth, right? Because that's the first step you need to move beyond this indoctrinated slave-like psychology, is to tell them this is what it means to be free. Now, what you do with that information, of course, it's up to each and every other person, right? Where that takes you, where that leads you. But bare minimum, that has to be the first step. That has to be the foundation for anyone going forward, is to at least understand what it is to be free. Right. And yeah, just because someone wrote in section 1 and section 33, like whether it's the notwithstanding clause or the where they can override your charter rights in section 33, it's like, well, then they're admitting that you have no rights in Canada. And if that's the case, there are a lot of Canadians who are woefully and inadequately informed that don't genuinely understand that you don't live in a free country, right? Just because your masters might treat you a little better than some other plantation owners or authoritarians in other states around the world, that's not the same as being free. And like I say, I try my best on a regular and a daily basis, try to help educate and inform, but it's really difficult to do when even people who should be on your side and fellow travelers are misrepresenting what that means or confusing, the Canadian public. Now, I get it. You're going to try to help them, but please actually help them. Don't just put on the nonsense or pretend, right? And this is an area where I'm really, really concerned. And I actually put out that post on True North. It's like, I seen you, Andrew. I seen a few others. You've covered Javier Milei. Like, listen, and I get it. I'm glad you did. But, I've been here all along, right? I mean, Candace Malcolm, the one that started True North, follows me on Twitter. We follow each other, actually. So it's like, it's not like you don't know I exist. Why the fuck do you got to resort to Javier Milei? And I get it. Maybe it's, you get more clicks, but maybe just 1 or 2 times, just do an article or something, or a video or something where it's not just about clicks. It's about getting Canadians up to speed and properly informed. And why not do it coming from an actual Canadian, seeing as how we are Canadians and live in this particular plantation. I'm here, I'm waiting, just a phone call or an email away or a text or a personal message, right? Jeez. It is a little bit frustrating, folks. It's like, come on. And it's not just me even. If you don't want to talk to me, then talk to Tim Owen or something, the former leader of the Libertarian Party, or Keith McIntyre. I'm not sure if Keith's still the current leader of the Libertarian Party, but, some actual genuine libertarians, right? Someone that'll tell you the actual truth. And no, minarchist is not going to tell you the complete, undeniable truth about what it is to be a free human being, right? So that to me, that's a big thing. But anyways, let me get to this. So this is an op-ed. Most Canadians don't know their rights. We're trying to change that. Well, this was actually this was an op-ed by Christine Van Gyn, January 23rd, 2024. A poll released by, let me just throw my glass on. I can see, but it's just so nice when I throw these glasses. I'm starting to get spoiled now. Oh, yeah, you're getting old, Bennett. You put them on, you're like, oh, man, see so well them. It's like, why squint and struggle when you don't have to, right? Plus, my wife kind of tells me, you really should be wearing, and, she's right. She's absolutely right. Anyways, a poll released by Legier late last year revealed an unsettling level of misunderstanding of the Constitution among the Canadian public. I mean, I posted this too. I might not even get to those posts. I was going to get to them, but I posted too in terms of like the Trudeau invoking the Emergency Act, right? Sending a bunch of mindless order followers, no names, no badges, dressed basically in almost like full-on military gear with weapons of war, big, guns and, all the, you've seen it, and the big Bearcats to go after peaceful protesters. And what were those protesters doing in Ottawa in the first place? The very reason why they were there is because they were standing up against an already authoritarian edict to try to force them to take a medical experiment to get a vaccine just so they could be gainfully employed. But I mean, this is the thing. So, I mean, that alone, and just because Trudeau and others said, oh, we can do this because it says in this document we're allowed. Well, listen, take off your legalese or your lawyer hat, right? Come on. Once in a while, just take it off and speak as a fucking human being once in a while, and be properly open and articulate with your audience and explain to them that none of that shit is legitimate. Matter of fact, government itself is not legitimate, and it can be easily proven with the 4 questions that I have posed to many people, and none of them have ever been able to counter it. Of course you can't, because the minute you try to present a case like 2 + 2 is 5, most at least reasonable or even somewhat intelligent people will recognize, wait a minute, that sounds like bullshit, right? But like I say, that's the bare minimum that has to happen. Anyway, let me keep going. The survey showed that just 1/3 of Canadians polled said they had read the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Many could not understand the difference between the Charter and the U.S. Declaration of Independence, confusing the language of the two. And you would think here it's like, oh, is she going to tell how the Canadian Charter is just such a failed document, right? Let's try and find out. For example, 88% of respondents to the Legier poll said that the Charter guarantees the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It does not. This is the language from the Declaration of Independence. The Charter guarantees the right to life, liberty, and security of person, and the right not to deprive thereof, except in accordance with the principles of fundamental justice. So the very next part after that, except, right? So but we can remove your rights, where we can, make 2 + 2 is 5 and make inalienable, inherent not exist anymore, right? You think the next follow-up thing would be, this is absolute false and can be proven so objectively, right? Based on universal ethics, right? And if you're talking about laws, once again, laws are supposed to be built and based upon, especially in the Western sphere, ethics and morality. So come on, Christine, do better. Anyways, but no, you're not going to get that here, folks. Yeah. I just got to say, conservatives truly are progressives driving the speed limit. And if these are the people that you're looking to probably inform you, you're just going to continually be disappointed, folks. While disheartening, these revelations should not come as a huge surprise. During the pandemic, we saw not just members of the public, but also politicians and arguably the courts themselves confused about the protection afforded by the Charter. The Legier poll also asked Canadians to rank in order which Charter rights needs to be most protecting. At the top of the list was freedom of expression, selected by 17% of respondents. Freedom of expression is a widely misunderstood right among the public and among politicians. One of the greatest myths perceptions is who it applies to. The Charter protects citizens from government action. It does not free individuals from consequences for their speech from their employer, from their community or family, or even from social platforms. Well, here's the thing, Christine, and this is where you need to expand on this. First of all, your employer, well, what kind of business? Is it a sole proprietor business? Well, even then, you still have to register it through the government. The government still is the one that sets up the rules for how you interact, engage, or even run your business to a lesser extent than if you're incorporated or considered a corporation. But yeah, but I mean, at the corporation level, I mean, even the term corporation, and I mean, don't go by my word. Once again, just pick up the good old friendly dictionary, whichever one you want to use, and look up what the term corporation means and how it came about. It's an act of legislation. Government is what created the term legislation, and government, which is the fascist way, right? The whatever they want to call the third way, but that's how they control. They don't use the old communist thing, right? Or the old style of socialism. No, the modern control freaks, sociopaths, and collectivists. No, they control, businesses by, you become incorporated. You call yourself a corporation, and the government controls you by way of legislation and the rules that they allow you to function under. Not a free market, right? But I mean, that should have been something that you would explain to your audience. Now, from their community or family, of course, listen. Yes, if you say things that, of course, you're going to have disagreements with people, but there's a big difference if you're having a disagreement because your family and your community, well, first of all, your community is just individuals, just other human beings. That's all a community is, right? Whether it's one or a bunch of them, it's just people, Christine. But yeah, what are they going to do, right? It's not like if you have a disagreement with your brother or something that like you're under any, you have the potential of suffering, economic hardships or potential for being charged with something like hate crime or shit like that, or being forced to use people's particular pronouns, or with a lot of these corporations today where you're going to be forced into this cult-like training of DEI or, the identity politics propaganda. Big difference there. Big difference. And like I say, that's really important. And you had all the time, and you have an entire column, right? Or if you want to do it like me in video form, do it that way. But you should be properly educated and inform people so they actually know how to think about things, so they actually know what it is to be a free human being. And social platforms, once again, social platforms. I mean, we're seeing how close in bed some of these social platforms are with government. And once again, they are corporations at the end of the day. But look at, I mean, you see in the relationship after Elon bought Twitter, all the revelations in terms of how much branches of the U.S. government were like so in bed and controlling, manipulating, and distorting what could be seen, heard, or posted on Twitter back when it was Twitter. So, I mean, come on. Some may read this and think that it suggests that the right to freedom of expression is not robust. This is not the case. Although the right does apply only to government action, governments are frequently acting to limit expression. The desire to silence the speech of those with whom they disagree. And that's the other thing. Think about the media. I mean, we're forced to pay for CBC, and I mean, they shut down almost any comment on their site of anything that might be construed as controversial in any way, or where they just don't want to hear your perspective, right? Even in modern liberal democracies, we saw the political pressure put on Twitter by the Biden administration. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. These folks are aware of this stuff to silence non-mainstream views on COVID. We saw the use of Canada's most extraordinary and powerful law, the Emergency Act, to shut down the nonviolent, though disruptive Freedom Convoy protests. Local municipal governments are often the most severe in terms of censorship. Yes, we know that. For example, Calgary has banned protests on the basis of subject matter near libraries and community centers, a clear violation of the right to expression, which is content neutral. Many Canadians will also be familiar with the use of statutory empowered professional regulators to silence the speech of people in regulated professions. Yeah, and NDAs, even when their speech is private and outside the scope of their profession. Yeah, the sanctions against Jordan Peterson by the College of Psychologists of Ontario are just the most recent example of the censorship creep of these bodies. Freedom of expression is fundamentally important to the functioning of democracy and requires a strong understanding by the citizenry. It is through freedom of expression that we define the contours of all of our rights. Without these guarantees, governments would be free to act unopposed, and their policies, include unjust policies, would be uncontested, which is what we're actually seeing, right? Freedom of expression. I mean, think about the judges that are using the charter and their interpretation of the charter to knock down all these challenges to the overbearing authoritarian edicts, mandates, and lockdowns that were imposed on us during the 3 years plus of COVID, right? If we cannot engage in truth seeking and express our beliefs, we cannot act with autonomy or develop as, yeah, that's true. And I mean, that's just, you can see that everywhere. This is what makes the public's confusion over the charter so concerning. Without an understanding of how our Constitution functions and how our rights are guaranteed, Canadians are poorly positioned to protect themselves against government overreach. That's why the legal charity, the Canadian Constitutional Foundation, has undertaken a new initiative to provide free legal education to Canadians about not just the Constitution, but specifically about the right to freedom of expression. At the ccf.ca, Canadians can register for free online courses in Constitutional Law 101, constitutional, as well as new courses on freedoms of expression taught by some of Canada's leading scholars in practice. So this is on the one area where, yeah, maybe I'm expecting too much from people who just want to function in the legal field, right? So maybe I shouldn't be too overly upset or giving people like Christine too much of a harder time, because that's where they function, right? They're willing to read the modern slave owners' documents and interpret it in way the slave owners, the masters, wrote it, right? Whereas, a philosopher, a genuine libertarian, or an anarchist, or a voluntarist, or a genuine critical thinker who isn't a statist will tell you the straight up truth. That not only is government illegitimate, but Section 1 and Section 33 are completely and utterly contradictions to the very premise of having fundamental rights, and should be immediately struck down. But good luck seeing that happen based on the current political and judicial environment in this country, right? Professor Emerita Jamie Cameron of Osgoode Hall gives a lecture on the constitutional framework for freedom of expression. Professor Richard Moon of Windsor Law shares his insight on the philosophical underpinnings of the right. Well, okay, we might be getting somewhere here, folks. Lawyers Adam Goldenberg and Justin Safayina speak in the course about major freedom of expression cases, from hate speech to defamation to pornography. At University of Saskatchewan Professor Dwight Newman delves into unexplored areas of freedom expression, including the rights to thought, belief, and opinion, as well as press freedom. If you're looking for a New Year's resolution, gain and improve understanding your basic rights is a great start. Well, anyways, folks, so like I say, maybe we'll wait till we see all this comes to light, see what's actually contained within it, see if, and like I say, I'm more than happy to, humble myself and say, sorry, you guys got it right, if I actually see that come to fruition, because I just, that's got to be the basis going forward, right? Anyways, let me get back over here into the chat. They still say that, well, even if it was it burned hotter, faster, and longer because of climate. Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I mean, they can come up with an excuse or rhetoric regardless, right? Too cold, climate change. Too hot, climate change. Too much rain, climate change. Too much snow. I mean, when every weather event you can attribute to climate change, well, I mean, just think about the fact that they use the word climate change. Of course, the climate change is like, who can deny that, right? But when you see the way they present it, obviously it's done with an ideological and political lens. But once again, that's when you got to get into the nuances. But yeah, good point. Yeah, they never speak about controlled burns and improper management. I know, right? Well, actually, I did see that one time, so I will give them a little bit of credit there, Dave. I think I did see that one time. But it's so overwhelmed and becomes like the proverbial needle in the haystack when you stack it up against the daily routine and rhetoric, on all their platforms and all their podcasts or radio programs or TV shows or all the segments, all that. it's no match against the behemoth of the constant climate alarmism cult, right? People don't really know what rights and wrongs actually are and how they exist in nature. That is absolutely true. Rights are actions. Wrongs are also actions. A right is any action that does not initiate harm to another sentient being. A wrong is an action that does. You could say that. That's not incorrect, but the main thing, the way I think about it is, rights, fundamentally, proper rights, in the proper sphere or scope of what it means, in terms of not using force or theft and coercion against other people, right? Is proper rights, fundamental rights are all what's considered negative in nature, right? So I don't have to impose. So there is no such thing. So a good way to test that, a good litmus test, is when someone says, I have a right to health care. It's like, well, that's not a right. That's not a fundamental right. Because what if you think about that properly, what that means was, so if you have a right to something, right, to a product or service or anything being provided to you, well, that means you're forcing. So, right, you're using force, coercion, or theft, some kind of wealth or income redistribution scheme to get your way as your means to an end. And the minute you've introduced force as your means to an end, then it's not a right. It's not a right. I mean, people will do it, but you don't have a right to it. Nobody has a right to go kill people, right? Now, defend themselves, yes, right? But that's the thing. Defense is completely different from preemptively using force. So that's the big difference. Is rights, fundamental rights, are things that don't require anything or any other people to be forced to act out or do anything on your behalf. It just means that people don't have, like, a proper right is freedom of expression. So I have the right to speak freely. But you see, by me speaking freely, I'm not requiring anyone else to do anything other than to, stop trying to put their mouth over my or hand over my mouth, or, using algorithms or things to suppress my voice on online platforms, things like that, right? That's what it is. But anyways, yeah, we're kind of along the same lines there. But yeah, you get it. What can't you do as opposed to what you can do? Yeah, that's right. You got it, Dave. You got it. Anyway, so yeah, let me where else was I going to cover this here? Okay, so let me get to, so we got Trump, Trudeau. Oh, what else did I? Oh, and I just wanted to bring this up too, because, if you got any lefties or progressives or people who are just ignorant to this fact, this particular thing, and I've covered it for years, and they introduced it, then there was an election, it went in the back burner, but it looks like it's coming back up. Looks like it might be something there's still. I mean, Trudeau's losing so much popularity hand over fist. This has a very real potential of being something they might try to do. So let me bring this up once again, folks. And this would, at least in this article, they admit, like, this would be the absolute downfall. And you just got to think, will they actually go along with it? Will they actually try to implement, like, a full-on guaranteed income, basically, like full-on socialism, and well, the way where everybody gets a paycheck from government if they want, right? That kind of shit, right? Where we just all preferably live off of the money tree, the invisible, mysterious money tree. I mean, once again, here it is. But just to even say that, especially in particular during COVID, and I mean, I got met with the same kind of reaction from a lot of, ill-informed or woefully informed Canadians when I was telling them, the Trudeau Liberals want to try to bring about, or at least they're putting that on and introducing it as a bill, or some of their MPs are introducing these things as bills in Parliament. So they at least want to, or some of them within these parties, and the NDP would be completely on board with this stuff, and with their little cozy relationship they got there now, right? I mean, they're already trying to, like, you don't have right. Dental care. No, you don't have a right to dental care. Pharmacare. No, you don't have a right to pharmacare. And no, you don't have a right to a universal basic income. But this is what they're promoting once again. But just to even suggest this for a time, and maybe even now they would say conspiracy theorists, but it's like, well, you just got to go read. It's actually a bill. Just go on to what was it, Canley or the Parliament, right? And you'll see. No, it's a real thing. So enough with the goddamn conspiracy theorist label, because it's just I mean, that label, surely it must have lost all meaning by now. You would think. So Bill S. No government could afford it. Why a newly proposed guaranteed basic income is likely doomed. This is reported by Catherine Levesque, January 22nd, 2024. Bill S. 233 has fueled recent speculation that Justin Trudeau will force page unresponsive. Wait, what? That's okay. Wait. Bill S. 233 has fueled recent speculation that Justin Trudeau will force universal basic income on all Canadians before next election as his party continues to trail in the polls. This controversial idea of a guaranteed basic income, which could cost tens of billions each year, might be making its way to the House of Commons this spring. But the chances of a guaranteed income becoming actual policy are very close to zero, said Kevin Milligren, an economics professor at the University of British Columbia, who specialized in government social spending. No government could afford it. Any government who was wise would see that this is not a good way to work on the important issues of poverty, Milligan said. The Senate has been studying Ontario Senator Kim Pate's Bill S. 233, which strives to develop a national framework to provide people over the age of 17 in Canada with access to a guaranteed livable basic income, including temporary work. Whoa! Holy shit, folks. Look at this. Actually, I think I might have known this, but it's just when you get reminded of this. So it's not even just for Canadians, because even the people or some of the proponents of this stuff, well, we're already paying to all these schemes in the boondoggle, blah, blah. But no, it's not even for the Canadians who've been forced into some of these already Ponzi schemes, these forced wealth and income redistribution schemes. But no, even in temporary workers, permanent residents, and refugee claimants. So basically, if you set foot on Canada, the government's saying, yeah, I'll force other people. And who's it going to be that's going to pay for this? Well, the unborn, primarily. People who have no voice to speak in opposition to this, right? This intergenerational theft, these leftists, these progressives that love eating their own, just terrible, terrible people. The bill would not actually implement a guaranteed basic income, but would force the finance minister to consult with provinces and territories, as well as Indigenous and other groups, to prepare a report setting out a framework for the policy. If it passes a final vote in the Senate, the bill will head to the House of Commons. Liberals and Conservatives are currently refusing to take a clear position on the bill, arguing that they are waiting for the legislation to reach the lower chamber before they decide where they stand. Like really, though, especially the Conservatives, what, you can't even fucking say that, yeah, you're against, full-on socialism in this country? Really, that's too hard for you? Once again, progressives truly are, right? Or conservatives truly are progressives driving the speed limit. Well, I mean, they even call themselves progressives, although at the federal level, they've dropped that label. But you can drop the label all you want, but if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, right? It's a duck. That sparked speculation in the following days from the right-wing commenters such as the Western Standard's Corey Morgan and the Post-Millennials' David Creighton, and also conservative MP Leslyn Lewis, who wondered aloud on social media whether basic income will end becoming Trudeau's policy Hail Mary, with his party continuing to tank in the polls. So anyway, folks, I don't have to waste too much time in that. Actually, I'll try to remember to put this. I didn't do it, but because like I said, this was just going to be a cool, easygoing live stream, and I'm going to try to keep it that way for the most part. But yeah, still got to deal with a little bit of stuff, right? But I mean, come on. UBI, they're still going at that shit, right? That really will be the ultimate downfall of this country if they try to make that a reality, for sure. Matter of fact, part of me, just by sheer fact of, once again, within disruption, opportunities present themselves. Not that I advocate for that necessarily, but I'm just saying, if it's going to happen anyways, right? I mean, not like our opponents aren't opportunistic. So, when in Rome. But yeah. Okay, let me get back here. Is it still on? Yeah, it is. Let me take that off here. One sec. I thought I took that off already. Didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, so we're good now. All right, I'll bring that post off. And then we'll go back to, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, actually, let me bring this up just for the shits and giggles of it, because it's actually just showed up again. But I had already seen the video early on, which is just so fucking hilarious. Actually, I wonder if I can bring that up on one of my other social media pages here real quick. See if I can't remember if I shared that video or not. Oh, that's there. Oh, and there's that. Might want to get to that. Oh, and there's that. Actually, there's a few things I want to get to here. Some good stuff here, actually, I got. Oh, yeah, this is the place I want to go. Probably use my Minds channel to refer to a lot of this stuff, actually, because, yeah, there's some good stuff I got over there. But no, I don't see that particular video right now. Where'd it go? Here we go. So let me bring this on, because it's right in line with what we're talking about here. Trump and Trudeau. Matter of fact, it includes both of them. I really would like to get it, though. I really would. Damn it, I should have had that on standby. Okay, here, let's bring this up. Like, how childish do you got to get? Like, these hacks in the establishment media, a lot of them, they just function as like adolescents walking around in full-grown adult bodies. It's a little bit disturbing, man. It's a little disturbing, I gotta say. But yeah, Trudeau's good looks may make Trump hostile towards Canada if elected president. Former aide. Yeah. And yeah, I saw the video of this former aide. Was it on CBC or CTV? It's like, yeah, that's what Trump's just gonna go fucking full on tyrant because Trudeau's younger and better looking. Like, really though? Like, that's them playing playing to this thing where Trump's got like thin skin, right? Like, and I mean, to call Trump thin skin when he's under what, like 90 fucking just fucking up against the deep state, the media, the military industrial complex. I mean, holy fuck, every fucking corrupt institution in the yeah. And he's still going strong and winning. But yeah, he's so thin skinned, right? I mean, if Trudeau was met, especially from the media and all the institutions in Canada, with the kind of hostility towards them as Trump is suffering down in the US, holy fuck, Trudeau would have folded up like a deck of cards long ago, right? Folded like a cheap shirt or whatever the hell you call it. So it's just so funny to see this shit. But actually, yeah, I should bring that off. I'll just post it in the link. Actually, I'll like it and I'll get it later, so I'm not using up too much more of my bandwidth here. Wonder if anybody shared that video. Good laugh. Yeah, that was quite funny. Yeah, but no, so the video is not right there. But yeah, like, hilarious that they think that Trump's going to go tyrannical because Trudeau's younger and better look. Like, who the fuck writes that? And it was a guy, actually. Wasn't even a girl. It's like, even weirder. It's like, why you talk about stuff like that? Are you projecting? No? Seems strange. I mean, sure. Is it because Trudeau and Sophie apparently broke up, right? Are some of the people looking at, he's single, ineligible? Like I say, I don't want to dig into the mind of some of these people. It could be quite disturbing. Don't want to go there. But yeah, it's pretty wild when you see it. Now, what was the other thing I was bringing? Oh, yes. I'm going to bring on this here. Let me bring on my Minds. Okie doke. Oh, and this was great. Yeah. This was great. Now, this isn't Trudeau or Trump, but you folks are going to like this. And like I say, this, and I even said, this is the way. But this is how you do it. Fuck the black pill bullshit. Not into the black pill, like fucking defeatist mindset. And the people who push that stuff, yeah, try to steer clear of them. If you want to, present, share. There we go. So let me just play this here for you, folks. Turn the volume on.
Already held Novak Djokovic in high regard. He's the tennis player who preferred to miss Grand Slams and lose his #1 ranking than be vaccinated just to play. Whatever your stance on the COVID vaccine, you had to admire a guy who, in a world of pragmatists, stood on principle. Australians, many of whom got jabbed for no greater reason than so they could go to Kmart, hated him. And that hate hasn't entirely disappeared. This weekend, a two-legged sheep sitting in the stands of the Australian Open interrupted Novak as he was about to serve, yelling, "Get vaccinated, mate." Check out Novak's response.
4 match points.
Please.
That's how you do it.
That's how you
Disregard
answer
the
your
haters.
critics with an ace.
Just
But
keep
something else
winning.
happened this week that showed the
Just keep
character of
winning.
Novak Djokovic. One of Novak's biggest critics, sports journalist Mike Dixon, tragically collapsed and died while covering the tennis last week. Dixon was aged just 59. Now, Dixon had led the charge for Novak to be banned from tournaments for refusing to get the jab. He called Novak a deplorable, a fanatic, a dangerous quack. He wrote that Novak's reputation had been trashed beyond repair. So, how do you think Novak greeted news of Dixon's death? Well, he left a message on Twitter reading, "Condolences to Mike Dixon's family. Rest in peace." Novak's critics have never been so gracious toward him. He's not lost at the Australian Open since 2018 and is through to the quarterfinals. The Serbian tennis champion continues to raise the bar both on and off the court.
So there you go, folks. So I mean, think about that. That is a man of integrity right there. Even with someone like that guy that was, just lambasting him, insulting him, deriding him in so many disparaging ways. And no, rather than to retaliate, of course you wouldn't want to do that anyways, someone who passed away. But I mean, that not only like the fact that when the guy was in the background yelling to a guy that's trying to play a fucking professional game, like, holy shit, these losers, get vaccinated, right? Fuck, pick up fucking goddamn something other than an established media tabloid or rag. You might actually learn something that even if he got his vaccine, he ain't going to stop shit. So shut up. And he's perfectly healthy. You don't need one. Anyways, as we've proven, we've all proven that, right? So yeah, we're all still here. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, to show the graciousness, well, he could have just not even responded at all, but he actually, stepped up. I think went above and beyond, and even just by, sending his condolences. That is a top-notch way of dealing with things. Once again, Djokovic, he's the one that's got to live in his head. We all got to live in our own head. Let these miserable fucks, these black-pilled, these blue-pilled, or let them live in their misery, their heightened state of fear. They're the ones that are, destroying their own minds and any semblance of genuine happiness, and why they have to constantly resort to pills or, whatever vices, right? And I'm not against vices. I'll admit I got my own. I've had my own vices in my life too, right? I'm human like everyone else, but yeah, I always strive to do better. I mean, I've quit smoking. Well, that was a long time ago. Now I've quit drinking. Now I've got what's this? I think this is on the third. So yeah, I've gotten rid of, some of my vices, at least the ones that I think were or had the potential to be detrimental to me. And because they did in the past, I don't want to repeat the same mistakes, right? That impaired driving charge that fucked me over hardcore and made me lose my livelihood, my career, and basically 10 years of my productive life, or greatly diminished it. Yeah, you don't want to repeat that shit again, right? But anyways, but yeah, I thought that was very, very awesome of Djokovic. What a thing to do. What an awesome dude. Oh, and yeah, actually, I should keep this on there because there's a few that I want to share. So present, share screen. Let's go back to my Minds page. Yeah, actually, that's the one place that I'll always post. The number one redundant social media platform that I use is Minds. Because Facebook fucks with me and Twitter doesn't, right? Twitter would be my main one now, predominantly, and Minds is my secondary. Used to be Facebook, then Minds, but Facebook fucks around. I still do it on the Facebook, but Minds is the place that I know it'll be there. And I'll have to go back and look later. It's like, oh shit, they took down all my stuff. Because even if I scroll back through all my Facebook posts, and I mean tons of them, link not available, source not available. So all those things, all that information is no longer available on the Canadian Libertarian page in so many ways where I was quoting, news articles and media. right? And referencing their own bullshit to use against them. A lot of that stuff is gone now. Now, it's still contained within all of my videos and live streams that covered a large portion of those things. Definitely not all, though. It's still contained there. So it's not like it's gone entirely. And like I say, I have redundancy built and baked into the cake by having alternative social media platforms such as mine's. So just letting you know that. But anyways, let me scroll down. So you can see this, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just making sure. Yeah. Actually, this is something I was just thinking about there a little earlier. So I figured, let me put this on for a post. Are progressives truly progressive? That's a good question. If you know people who are progressive, this is just what I was thinking is, and I come to the conclusion, well, based on their envy, hatred, and resentment for libertarians, I would say that is a resounding no. There's nothing more progressive than giving people the knowledge that will set them free from the slave psychology instilled in them by tyrants, authoritarians, and collectivists. I mean, it sounds pretty progressive, right? But yet progressives hate and loathe libertarians. So are they genuinely progressive? Nah, right? I don't know. Oh, and I'll play this video. Actually, this was pretty wild. Margaret Atwood. Not sure if you folks are that, but this seems to me, she obviously carries water for Trudeau. Even when you think, because just watching the first minute, and I'll play it all in its entirety here. But even when you listen to the first bit, it's like, oh shit, we might start to get some good stuff here. But then, sorry, I don't want to give away the plot. So let me just play this here.
Is democracy fragile and easily destroyed, or flexible and resilient? We may be about to find out. The planet heats, the clock ticks, and with each increase in temperature, world harvests shrink, famines loom, and fire and flood impact millions. When a government fails to deliver basic necessities, the result is either the toppling of power or a brutal crackdown. So says history. Democracy by Margaret Atwood. Imagine a circle. At the top is totalitarianism. At the bottom is chaos. Dictators rule totalitarianisms, and gangs, mobs, and the war of each against all thrive in chaos. Through the middle of the circle is what we might call the temperate zone. It respects the concept that those ruled ought to have a say in their rulers, or no taxation without representation, that rulers should be accountable to rule of law, that the judiciary, those interpreting and implementing.
I mean, first and foremost, already you're seeing how we've all seen the political compass, and you see with the authoritarianism, libertarianism, but you see how this is being completely misrepresented. And here she is admitting that or putting forth the notion that it's legitimate to have fucking rulers, but we should write things down that are going to restrain our rulers. But yet they're the rulers. Do you think they're going to, if they're the ones that are in charge, right? They're the one with all the power and all the guns and all that, they're the ones that write legislation and they're the ones that get to interpret all that. But we're the ones so there's rules. They'll write rules down to protect us. Oh, you mean something like the Canadian Charter of Rights of Freedoms, Margaret? How's that working out? Didn't work out too good. Matter of fact, toilet paper is vastly more useful than Canada's garbage charter of non-rights and privileges. Come on. Holy jeez.
The laws should not be controlled by a dictator, and that freedom of religion, freedom to debate, and freedom of peaceful assembly are sacrosanct.
And you just got to think that chaos side of things, right? You just got to think that she is leaning towards and suggesting, right, that What's that? That anarchy, you mean? Anarchy? Is that what you're saying? A lack of rulers? That's what it sounds like to me. So not having rulers. So back in the day of, let's think of the old way of slavery, of genuine human ownership and masters bill of sales and stuff, right? It's like this woman literally would be suggesting that the documents, she would be defending the master's bill of rights. And that if you ripped up that document, at least back then, there probably was genuine documents that said that the master had a bill of sale, right? To prove that he owned the slave. Like, how crazy is that just to think about? But what she's saying is if the slaves, ran away from the plantation or nobody agreed, all the slaves on the plantation agree that, no, we're not, we're not accepting that you are our master. That's not legitimate. And we're not going to stand for it. And we're not accepting no more. Well, to someone like Margaret Atwood, well, that would just create pure chaos. I mean, of course, it has that potential, but I think freedom is fundamentally way more important than the fact that you might piss off or upset this comfy little master-slave relationship, right? Right. Sure, the master-slave relationship probably looks, a little bit more static, or, peaceful, I guess, but that's only because the slaves have to yield and obey and do exactly what the master says to avoid the whip. So when the slaves are actually, beholden to the master in the absence of the whip, just because of the fact that they're doing what their master tells them, that is not, that is nothing that, or not the kind of structured environment that I would want to have anything to do with. But Margaret now, she thinks much differently than you or I.
From the temperate zone, there's an arrow going up to totalitarianism on the political right and one on the political left. You can get there either way. Hitler was elected to begin with. The USSR began with communitarian communism, but ended with the dictatorships of Stalin and.
See, this is where I thought, okay, this might be reasonable here. We might be getting somewhere here. At least something closely resembling where she's going to hold, which is something I've never seen a progressive do in a long time. Or have I even seen that? I don't know. Surely at least once or twice. I don't know. The rare breeds, if they have, but I thought, so she's going to actually show where the left and the right can become totalitarian. And in some way she does. But wait, there's more.
And his successors. There are also two arrows going down towards chaos on left and right. Upset the balance of the temperate zone, find yourself in a civil war, witness a breakdown of the institutions that keep things running, the supply chain, the tax department, healthcare, the schools, and chaos.
Like especially when she's talking about the economy, she never read Adam Smith. No, never heard of the Invisible Hand. Never doesn't understand at that ripe old age she's at. Nowhere in the entire course of all those decades of your life, Margaret, you never learned, how a free market actually functions. There's Nobel Prize winning economists that could help you out in that regard, right? Oh man. But this is just wild. Anyways, I'll continue on.
This will be the result.
Ooh, scary freedom.
There are two big arrows going all the way up to dictatorship, one on the right and one on the left.
How you like that?
Because when things get too chaotic and no democratic institutions work any longer, people will accept the abolishment of their former rights just so they can live and eat. The conditions leading to the appointment of Julius Caesar as dictator in ancient Rome are instructive. Too much civil war, followed by more civil war once he was assassinated. Which is why both the extreme right and the extreme left try to create as much chaos as possible. It gives them a better shot at a dictatorship. They say things like,
so when is she getting to Trudeau invoking the Emergencies Act and all that come as a consequence of that? Well, hold on, just give it time. We'll get there.
burn it all down, and
Surely she
only
must be
I
headed
can
that way,
fix
right?
it.
As a Canadian.
Each has an ingrained contempt for ordinary people, useful idiots, sheep, parasites, and so forth, a firm belief in their own divine right to rule. Only they are pure, true, just, and good, and each proceeds to purge any enemies from the other side, as well as any lukewarm slackers or potential rivals from their own side. How close are we to the great big arrows? Depends where you live. If in Canada, not very close. The zeal for dictatorship doesn't seem strong at the moment. In the United States, too close. The extremist right already has a plan to make Donald Trump dictator for life, and it includes widespread purges and the bringing of all branches of government under the direct control of the president. This is to be done in the name of an Orban-like faux Christian ideology, which bears as much relation to the core tenets of Christianity as gravel does to breakfast. Those working to enact this plan will attempt to weaken or abolish as many democratic institutions as they can, so they can say, look, democracy doesn't work. It's broken. You'd almost think these folks want to destroy their own country. What is the antidote? Educate people about the hazards.
All right, before we get to that, so once again, not only did she not, yeah, obviously, like this is the blind spot, like I say, where these progressives and these obviously someone who I don't even know what side of the political spectrum, or although I sure it's probably left, right, that she would identify as. But I mean, come on, the fact that not only did she not bring up Trudeau, I mean, Trump, right, did not invoke martial law on the American people at any fucking point in time. Now, I'm not saying he was perfect by any stretch of the imagination. No. What I'm saying, he did not invoke the equivalency of the War Measures Act, like the Emergency Act, like Trudeau did here in Canada, to target peaceful protesters who were already standing up against his already authoritarian political edict, aka the vaccine mandate for truckers. He was literally destroying people's livelihoods and telling them that they had no right to feed themselves because they weren't willing to inject a vaccine into them. And you're talking about truck drivers who spend the overwhelming majority of their time isolating alone in a truck anyways. But the fact not only did she not bring up anything Canada related as it pertains to Trudeau and his regime, but no, just completely obscured and overlooked anything the Biden administration has been doing. Even if you go and the media mouthpieces, those institutions, the universities, no, in the US, no, apparently complete fucking blind spot for all of that shit that's happened. Even since Trump, even started to run in the race of becoming president back in, 2015 to become a president in 2016. Complete blind spot to both the Trudeau regime's authoritarian tendencies and actual willingness to enact authoritarian edicts and mandates on the people. Complete blind spot for that, and all the shit that they're doing down in the U.S. under the Biden administration and the deep state. Like that's how you know that someone is actually just this is just political propaganda, and obviously meant to get people to think, oh, she's being, because once again, I got to tell you, these people, which tells you she's got to be on the left, because she's a good little storyteller. Seems like, well, I mean, she's an author, right? So yeah, she's got to be from the left. So she's a great storyteller. I mean, the first couple of minutes almost had me hooked. Luckily, I've got a brain that understands things critically, and I've been paying attention to what's happening out there in the real world. And the fact that she's willing to omit and completely overlook what's been taking place, right, from that left, she even admitted that there was left. So what? You're not even going to use one example, Margaret? So much fail on so many levels. Let me get this last little bit played for and we'll move on.
Strengthen essential democratic institutions. Diminish the possibility for chaos by combating the effects of climate change and enabling a more widespread material prosperity.
Anyways, so as you see, just blatant, naked, in your face propaganda. So much fail, but hey, she's an older woman, as with so many of these authoritarian hacks and these leftist virtue signalers, right? I mean, she had to throw the climate. Right? So, I mean, hey, they're getting old and on their years. They're not all going to be with us forever, are they? Right? No. Anyways, I got another one here. Let me jump back in the chat here. See if, because yeah, I thought you guys might have something to say about the UBI. UBI might be a great way to start using Canadian digital ID. With the Conservatives, they will likely go the digital ID for voting route, protecting democracy and all that. Yeah, see, oh yeah, it's a great excuse, right? It's a great excuse. And you gotta expect they're going to try to tie all that stuff together. And I mean, we've heard the rhetoric. It's not like they don't even openly talk about these things. I mean, they've been caught so many times with their pants down and talking about these things. It's literally unavoidable that is just a reality. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up there, Dave. Wouldn't it be cool if it will get there? Well, this is what I mean. I've been thinking about this thing a lot, and I'm glad you brought that up, Justin Turtle. I've been thinking about that a lot. This is why it's so important that we actively engage, right? Don't walk away. Don't shy away. I know it can be a pain in the ass at times, but and same with, who was it? Pierre Poilievre says he would ban any of his ministers from going over to the WF. Why? How fucking stupid is that? If you got a minister that's under you and you're a genuine conservative, well, that's the thing. You know he's not, but let's just play along with his game. You know, all the fucking dipshit authoritarians and progressives and petty tyrants and control freaks and sociopaths, that's who represents the bulk, the majority of them at the WF over there in Davos. The one breath of fresh air this year, at least, was Javier Milei, the libertarian. And look at the millions, the tens of millions of views that guy's speech got, right? So it's obviously very, very, very popular. But yet, Pierre Poilievre would ban anyone from going there. Why? First of all, what the fuck's with banning anyways? It's like I say, left and right. They're everything. If every problem's a nail, or if your only tool, or if your only tool is a hammer, I guess every problem's got to look like a nail, right? So once again, the libcons in this country, it's undeniable, folks, undeniable. You just to ban people. Well, no. If you truly cared about offering a counter perspective or anything even remotely resembling, like, I don't know, even something that you would call genuine conservatism or what it was supposed to mean, right? What it used to mean with free markets, like, the Reagan kind of stuff and all that shit, or the Thatcher kind of conservative, anything like, well, wouldn't you want to at least send a few of your MPs, your henchmen over there to, fucking stir up the hornet's nest and at least offer those audiences a different perspective? Oh, no, you just ban them. Good answer, Pierre. Yeah. Holy fuck, these guys are idiots. But yeah, back to your question, Justin. AI, this is what I mean. So engage, just like over there, engage. And even Djokovic, his example, perfect one as well. Oh, Dana White, engage. Yeah, sure, you could just ignore these people. It's not like Dana even has to answer the question. But no, the best way to do is to properly articulate your thoughts and ideas, and don't shy away from controversy or back away from these tyrants, or think that if you just don't go there, that they're just going to stop doing what they're doing. No, you need to disrupt. You need to offer counter perspectives. You need to offer good ideas. Where there's a shitload of bad ideas, that's actually the place where you should be if you got some good ideas. So yeah, come on. But AI, that's a perfect example, Justin. Perfect example. Let's train AI. When these algorithms, and actually that was so I've been doing a lot of back and forth exchanges with these hacks on X, like that Max Fawcett and that Andrew something, Leach something, whatever the hell his last name is, this University of Alberta professor of economics. What a joke, right? Oh, they're also fucking, their positions, like everything's just so Orwellian or Huxleyan, like the Brave New World shit too, right? It's just so crazy. But yeah, let's train the AIs. Right. And that was actually the thing. It was like, oh, okay, rather than just these small bantering back and forth. And I'm just making some great points. Don't get me wrong. Right. And laying the old ethical traps out for them. And they were just stepping on them left, right, and center. It's just unbelievable. It was like they were dancing, trying to avoid them, but couldn't. They couldn't. Right. But then I thought, wait a minute. I did a pretty good job writing down that whole thing that leads up to what it is to be a free human being and the 4-question quest for freedom. So all you have to do is just ask yourself those simple questions. Like, and I always use me as an example. So do I, and you folks have probably already heard this, do I have a right or authority, to take a portion of, my neighbor's income without his express implied permission? No, I don't. And no progressive, nobody's going to say yes, right? Except someone that's going to want to admit that all they do is advocate for force. But that's the thing. If you're advocating for force or living in the state of nature, well, then civilized society, right, no longer exists. And these people at least claim that they want to live in civilized society, and they want to train their algorithm to pretend that they want to live in civilized society. So anyways, you ask that question, do I? And the only obvious answer to that is no. Of course you don't, Bennett. That would be called theft, right? Even small children would understand that. Or then you go to the second one is, well, do I have the right to, rather than me go steal from my neighbor, do I have any right or authority, like legitimate, to ask a different neighbor or maybe a group of other people in my community to go steal that shit on my behalf, steal a portion of my neighbor's income or maybe some of his property, right, on my behalf? Or once again, any sane individual, or once again, we're training the artificial intelligence here. Even the artificial intelligence does not compute. So, like I say, any sane person are going to have to say and answer no to both those questions. And of course, you know how it goes, whether it's one person, a gang of people, or a million people, right? I can't delegate a right or an authority that I don't possess. If I don't possess it, well, how in the fuck do I delegate that to someone else, right? It's an impossibility. And I guarantee you, if we keep hammering away with these universally consistent, ethically and logically consistent fundamentals of liberty, the first principles and the ethics of what it is to be a free human being, I firmly believe that AI will actually probably, like I say, get there at some point in time. I don't know, because we do have our opponents that will be constantly trying to trick it. But if it's just genuine artificial intelligence, and if an artificial intelligence, the whole point of it is to get the point where it does understand things that can be proven to be objectively true without any contradictions, that 2 + 2 is 4. Like, once again, can you imagine trying to train? You could probably start off early and train an algorithm or an AI to think that 2 + 2 is 5, if that's how you started out. But once you've trained it enough and you show how a times table or a multiplication or an addition chart works, right? Well, then the gig's up, because the computer, the AI or the algorithm is eventually going to recognize that, oh no, this one's right, this one's wrong. You would think it just has to be. So that's just me thinking it out loud. But that was a great thing to bring up there, Justin. I really appreciate that question, because that, like I said, that's something to really think about, and to think about how powerful the philosophy of liberty truly is. Okay, so I am going to close that up, and then I'm going to bring, let me deal with this one. This is crazy too. Like, holy shit. This video, I just had to embed it. I put it on all of my social media pages, but the Minds one for sure, at least it won't get taken down. But just listen to this nonsense, folks. Where did that go? There we go. There we go. Okay, let's bring that back. Oops.
Away from the Black Lives Matter. Here's Major League Sports stayed away from the Black Lives Matter movement. NFL players wanting to protest racial injustices were banned from kneeling during the American anthem. Then this past summer, when anti-racism activism surged, the sports world picked up the ball. But in the UK, the rise of virtual racism has left some pro soccer players feeling defenseless.
Wait till you see this
Shannon explains.
display of racism.
When English soccer leagues resumed in empty stadiums after the first lockdown, it was just a few days after the killing of George Floyd. Players united to take a knee, but at one game they looked up to see this. White Lives Matter, a banner paid for by a fan. And with the stands still empty, it appears more people are going online to send racist messages to players.
What are they?
I've received messages. I've received multiple messages in, DMs, saying, horrible things. Race issues are now coming to the front of agendas. I
No
think it's
examples?
in people's minds, and I think there is a bit of a reluctance sometimes for people to accept that that's the way that things are going.
Barely a week goes by without another player highlighting the vile racist abuse they get online.
Oh,
Football
no.
Association President Prince William tweeted that the
No examples again?
responsibility extends to the social media platforms. Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, says it's making
here comes one.
changes to ban repeat offenders and to better filter direct messages. The Players Union and retired stars say it's not enough.
And how easy it is for people simply to make a fake profile and engage in this kind of racist abuse.
What kind of racism? We're also
Shaka
waiting for an
Hislop played in the
example.
Premier League
What?
and World Cup. In the 90s, he set up a racism education charity.
But they also have to do more about people just making these fake online profiles.
The problem is, verifying user identities goes against the anonymous free speech
That's
ethos
such a
of many
bummer for these
online
control
platforms.
freaks.
Activists say racism's root causes need to be addressed too.
It's very much society's problem, racism, not football's, and it's coming back at the moment in social media.
Abuse across social media is nothing new, but it appears as though the voices of these high-profile sports stars could be forcing change. The British government is now promising legislation designed to hold social media giants more accountable. Redmond Shannon, Global News, London.
Years Major League Sports stayed away from the black.
So think about it. And this, I mean, you've heard me talk about this stuff so many times, but think about it. So the only thing we see that they were trying to present as racist is White Lives Matter. Oh, no, you didn't go and do yourself a remedial, what's his last name? You know, the Four Tenors guy that just got completely thrown under the bus, even by his fellow fucking bandmates, right? The pitchfork yielding mob for him daring to say that white lives matter. Like, there's nothing fucking inherently racist with saying that white lives matter when you have constant, nonstop barrage of rhetoric from a whole lot of people in a whole lot of positions of power, control, or institutions, right? Or in the media, or social media, constantly targeting and saying that white people are all racist, right? So just by daring to say white lives matter, that was the only thing they could come up with. You know, if they had actual real examples, you know, damn well that would have been plastered all over there. So the fact that they had nothing, zero to present other than a plane flying by with the banner White Lives Matter, and what's the response to White Lives Matter? What's the response? Well, just like with Remigio, to not just say words back, or maybe to try to, if they think they're bad ideas or bad words, to counter those bad words with good words. Oh, no, vengeance. Oh, I want to take that shit down. Oh, I want to control you. I want to cancel you. If I can get you fired, maybe, right? That's the fucking response from people even just saying some words. So even if you're stupid enough to say that white lives matter is somehow racist in any way, even if that's your stance. So your reaction to someone saying a racist, thing, or at least what you believe to be racist is white lives matter. Your response to someone using some words is to use force, coercion, or, destroy their livelihoods as a response. Geez, that seems like a lot of escalation for just some words, right? Who are the true tyrants we're speaking of here? Like I say, that's why you just got to think that things have got to be on the downhill spiral for these tyrants. And it sure as shit feels like that in the modern, like now in 2024, because I mean, the kind of people that will adhere to this kind of nonsense, this kind of rhetoric, this kind of cult-like identity politics thing, and this kind of baseless bullshit, I mean, surely the ranks got to be fucking shrinking by the day, and the kind of people who are continuously willing to parrot or regurgitate this kind of nonsense, right? I mean, jeez, it's just wild. Yeah, ruled and rulers. So basically, admit masters. Like, yeah, exactly. It's not wild. Wild, completely comfortable. That's what I mean. And hashtag not all, because I know some great boomers, but some of the old fucking boomers that have been so thoroughly indoctrinated, and their parents, right? Oh man, you just can't help but think it's probably wouldn't be a bad thing at all for these people to just fucking finally move on, right? Stop soaking up so much fucking oxygen and in the room, right? Anyways, what's going on, Merlin Wielder the third? Ooh, Merlin Wielder. They're going to take it anyway, so why not get some back with welfare? Oh, come on, man. I mean, even if, hey, I get it, but here's the thing. Do you not understand what a universal basic income would be? Right? If you think your loaf of bread or your carton of eggs is expensive now, I mean, just anyone that just even understands minimum wages and shit. I mean, the cause and effect correlation. I mean, as a person that started working at 15 years old at like $4 an hour to now, even if you're quadruple or whatever that kind of money or 5 times more than that money, I have no more purchasing power now, right, than I did 40 fucking years ago. And even some hacks in the established media, what was it, Global News that reported on that years ago. I shared it a bunch of times. Even they've had to admit, the average Canadian, the working class typically haven't had their wages increased, especially in terms of adjusted for inflation, in 40 fucking years. We have not gained any, increased purchasing power. Even if you keep getting all these raises, which of course we all get raises to try to keep up with inflation, but we never get out and ahead of it. At best, they try to keep at least close to up to it, right? But you're never gaining anything. You're literally the dog proverbially chasing the tail, never catching it. You're just going to constantly get dizzy. And like I say, with a universal basic income, or that's the new floor. So if eggs are now $5 a carton, well, it'll be $15 a carton, or whatever the hell that would work out to in the mathematical equation in terms of the price effect of giving people, let's say, $2,000 a month. That's all it will do. And I get it. Listen, I get it. I get it. I even understand the arguments that, well, they're already stealing from me, so I should try to get some back. The problem is that line of reason is what everybody uses, which is why you end up in the exact situation what we're in today. I mean, myself with CERB, of course I could have took CERB. 9 fucking million Canadians took CERB. And at the time, I was actually one of the people that really, really, really could have used it. Trust me. No fucking way. Don't want nothing to do with that. I sleep good at night knowing that. Never had to fucking give any goddamn pretense of any agreement with the government that, I need your money. No, none of that shit. And yeah, of course it was a little bit detrimental to myself, but not really. I'm fine at the end of the day. Sure, other people might have enriched them in some way, but they rely on handouts from the government, right? Their psychology, my psychology, their self-esteem, my self-esteem, completely different, in a completely different realm. So yeah, I'll take it. I don't mind not having the advantage and the financial gains of being a lapdog, or even just, using the excuse that I'm just taking some of my stuff back. And once again, I won't hate on you, right? Because actually, if you do, whatever, the better, the quicker this system collapses, because we're building anew, right? So it's not like we want to tear it down, but they're going to destroy it anyway. So while we're over here building something out new, if you guys want to take advantage of that, go right ahead. For me personally, it's not really something I'm interested in. That's all. But I understand the argument. I'm not hating on you, because I heard the argument. I know the argument. In the past, I might have even used that argument myself. And there is some validity to that. Someone's stealing from you. If you go to try at least steal some back, can't hate on you. But in the context of government, the state and the citizens and how this all works out, it really is just a fast track race to the bottom. And I mean, if you want to get yours before we, crash completely, do your thing. But at the end of the day, it's not really, it just is not sustainable for that way. But anyways, thanks for joining the stream there, by the way, Merlin. Appreciate that. And like I say, I'm not hating on you, just pointing out some articulate my own thoughts. But if all restrictions on growing cannabis went, then we could feed the cows and fuel the trucks and tractors. But if all restrictions, well, yeah, I mean, there should be. Cannabis is just, it's an exchange. It's an economic exchange where all parties involved. It's a voluntary interaction, right? Nobody's forced into that. So yes, there should be no restrictions on people if they want to grow, cultivate, consume, or distribute a plant, right? Or the product or substances contained within the plant. Of course not. Of course not. That's the beauty of the free market. Matter of fact, that's what, they call it the black market or the gray market. That is as close to a free market as you can get. And as I'm actually happy to see that the free part of that market, the black market, is still thriving tremendously, And I will say this again, I've said this in many past live streams. There are little tiny things we can all do. And now that there's the legalization in Canada, at the very least, don't go to these goddamn government licensed shops. There are all kinds of ways to get yourself weed in this country without having to go to, if you're in New Brunswick, was it NB Liquor or NB Cannabis? Like, come on, these are people who just not long ago would have made your life a living hell for even doing this. So no, don't fucking fill up their coffers. Go elsewhere. That Matt in apartment 6B that's been there all that time before legalization to give you your weed when you wanted it, right? Keep supporting Matt in apartment 6B. Not these hacks, not these crony corporations. That's just my opinion. That's my advice. Hey, foam fatal. Oh, not femme fatal, but foam fatal. Howdy, y'all from Ottawa. Ooh, Ottawa. Hope everyone's having a superb day. Well, we're doing just fine there, and I really appreciate you joining the live stream. If you wouldn't mind, and anyone else, the new folks in the chat, just hit that thumbs up or like whatever you're watching on. Actually, I wonder if anyone's watching this on X. There was a few. I've been getting a few over there. I know there's a bunch on Rumble. Actually, let me check and see what's going on over on Rumble. Yeah, I do see there's a bunch watching over on Rumble too. So that's cool. And what about, I closed out my Odyssey. But yeah, it's nice to see some people, some new people or less familiar people in the chat. But yeah, what was it you said again? Oh yeah, from Ottawa. Yeah, we're doing fine. But I mean, if you're in Ottawa, hopefully you're doing fine. Because that's literally, you're living in the proverbial belly of the beast, right? So yeah, but I guess that probably makes you resilient, especially if you're someone that's willing to watch a libertarian channel. So yeah, you're surrounded by the enemy, and so I'll tell you, you must have some really thick skin and a lot of resolve, right? So kudos to you, but thanks for joining the live stream. What's this? I live in under the carpet. I don't know what that means. I live in under the. I'm not sure what that means, Merlin. I just get food stamps and fuel. Well, I mean, if you're talking about you're having really, bad financial times, right? Yeah, I hear you. I don't know what the reason is behind that. I won't get into your personal life, but there's always ways that we can strive to better ourselves. I've been in the, dire financial situations myself, and where there's a will, there's a way. And yes, I know that's easier said than done, but things that are difficult are also very rewarding. So I wish you all the best there, Merlin Wielder. Principles are more important than money. I didn't take a dime. Right on, Justin. And I feel the same way, at least for me. For my psychology, for my line of reason, the way I think about things and how I live. Yes. And the fact that I always want to lead by example, I wouldn't feel as comfortable talking about the things I talk about if I didn't, hold myself to that kind of high standard and keep those principles front and center. Right. And I'm pretty sure Justin is the same way. So right on, Justin, right on, man, right on. And like I say, don't worry about what other people, how they're benefiting from the state. Even though it does ultimately come at your expense, just make sure that you're at least doing well enough in your life. That's the thing. And I mean, we've seen that chart years ago. What is it, like $70,000 for a typical household? Of course, it might be higher now, but as long as you have enough to pay your bills, to keep the wolves at bay, right? Get by, feed yourself, sustain yourself, maybe have some leisure activity, just the things that give you meaning and some fun in your life. If you can do that, I mean, everything else at the end of the day, hey, I'm going to quote a very wise back in the day. He used to love the guy. No, I'm just kidding. But the title of the song, man, it was completely applicable. And you might want to keep this in mind is, what was it? Biggie, P. Diddy, and Mace, right? Mo money, mo problems, right? Mo money, mo problems. Take it from the guys that got all kinds of money. They're telling you, mo money, mo problems, right? So yeah, why bring on more problems for yourself if it's not needed or necessary? That's, yeah, right? The P. Diddy and Mace right up there with Confucius. No, just kidding. Just kidding, of course. But anyways. Okay, have bought weed or haven't bought weed. Oh, haven't bought weed for years. Right on. Oh, because yeah, okay, cool. Right on. Awesome. Holla, folks. Exactly. I am a JM scaffolder. Oh, scaffolder. Okay. Since 2001, my wage was $42 an hour. Today, 20 plus years later, $42.60. Right? That's just crazy. Yeah. Well, I got even worse things to say than that, Merlin. But yeah, we'll go with yours. An unwanted business partner. I mean, that's a much gentler way than I would define government. But hey, for the sake of for this podcast, yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. All right, I'm going to. Where are we at here in terms of time? Just want to check that out. And yeah, thanks for joining the live stream over there on Rumble there, folks. And hopefully, like I say, we're getting some happening over on X as well. So where are we at here? An hour and 55. Damn, I didn't even realize I'm already going up on the 2 hours. So okay, we're going to tie this up there, folks. Yeah. That's where I would go with it. But each our own. Hey, as long as we're all just not fans, right? Long as we're not slave-minded or possess that slave psychology. Matter of fact, I never even got a chance to cover all those tweets. I might just do them alone in another live stream. Maybe give them time to even throw in more of their crap before I put it all together. Because I should have put something like that all together. Actually, there's so much. Yeah, maybe I'll just do a whole live stream just to show like the craziness and how the status attack and how I can see when you see what they're coming at, what they're armed with in terms of what they bring to the table in terms of intellect or understandings of philosophy or any of these things or first principles or even what it means to be a free human being, right? It's like these people are weak. They're weak, inept. I guess that probably explains why they need to surround themselves in large numbers, right? It's like I say, I was one guy and I had a lady actually come on there. I think it was a lady, not 100% sure on that, but who come in to kind of defend me, although somewhat misrepresented me, but I seen her heart was in the right place. I think it was a her. I'm not 100% sure on that, but either way, the person's heart was in the right place and they were trying to defend me. But I was like, no, I don't need you to do that. I can stand on my own 2 feet. In matter of fact, in terms of defending individual liberty, it's kind of my wheelhouse. So I'm okay. I can take care of myself. And it's just online exchanges. Now, if we were in the physical space and I was surrounded by a gang that wanted to kick my ass, I'll accept some help in that situation, right? I'm not Chuck Norris, right? But in the battle of ideas on the social media platforms, I can handle all that stuff all by myself. Matter of fact, I love it. But yeah, thanks, guys and gals. Appreciate everyone that showed up to the live stream. And I'll tie this one up and we'll see you folks in the next one. It's Canadian Libertarian. And yeah,